The next little job is to take a look at this seat or the saddle. It's leaking, as you may have seen earlier, underneath. It's just a simple problem, I think. The material is coming away at the front here, so I'm just going to get rid of some of this debris, clean this up, and then stick it back down again with this vinyl fabric and plastic Loctite glue. This must be an aftermarket or replacement seat cover because the old pop rivet heads are still down here. So what I'll do, clean in here, get rid of some of this. I know it's not going to fix it entirely. Clean this all out, clean the surfaces. I might try and take these heads off so that we've got a flat surface to adhere to, and then we'll stick that down like this. It's the moment of truth again. We're going to try and start the bike. So it's been a pleasure to work on this Atlas. I've really enjoyed it. I haven't looked at any of the electrical work yet, so this is just to check that the bike will start, that the carburetors seem to be okay. I'll dial them in as well following this, and then if it's still having some problems, we'll need to get into more detail with the electrical system. So I've kicked it over several times in the garage, so that's my exercise for the day, and we'll watch to make sure that the oil returns as well. But no chokes on this bike, so we'll be giving it a good flood and then trying to start it. Okay. I just need to find the gas tap. It's under here somewhere. All right. We want to make sure that gas doesn't pour out either. Oh, okay. Little gas coming out of the carburetor there. And coming out there, just weeping out there as well. I think that's it. Right, no switch or anything, just give it a kick. Oil is returning, thank goodness. Okay, great, excellent. So now we just have to dial in the throttle stops as well, just lift them a little, see if we can get it into an idle. So that's great. Just to get the bike started is a win. Now we have to dial in the carburetors. Also, I want to try and keep trying to start it. So what Paul was finding is that it would start right away, and then if he left it just for a few moments, he couldn't start it again. If it were a bit longer, I'd start thinking it was like the magneto. There was a problem with the magneto, but it might just be fuel. It might have just been carburetors, so we'll see. I'll try again one more time for now. I might take it for a little ride, and then we'll start working on the carburetors. Oh, I also have to do a compression test as well. It felt a little light on compression when I was kicking it over. I don't know if you saw me kick through several times as well, quite easily. Didn't seem to be a lot of compression, so I still got to check that. I'll try one more time. So this is with the engine warm. Well, that's great. That's what we want, and I'll continue to try that. Very nice bike. Should I take it for a ride? Yeah. Well, got a few observations. Number one, fabulous bike, really enjoyable. A couple of things that I noticed. The clutch slips. I don't know if you heard going up and down the cul-de-sac, but the clutch does slip. First was fine. As soon as I put it into second and wound the throttle back, it definitely slipped, and I took it down the street and it slipped actually a lot. So we can adjust that. And then why won't it start? I think the carburetors are getting too hot. I think that's what's happening, and it's evaporating whatever fuel there is in the float bowls after the bike has stopped, and that's why it won't start again. They're almost like bone dry again as soon as I try and restart it. That's possibly something that he could live with. However, I think there are some techniques that could be applied here, and specifically putting in some of those insulator blocks that dissipate the heat between the head and the carburetor. I think that might help. Regardless, if you just flood the carburetors, it will start. It's a wonderful bike to ride. I'd like to ride it a little further, kind of give more of a deeper assessment of what I think is happening. The next job is to balance and synchronize the carburetors. What I'm going to do is start by removing the balance pipe here, and I've just unscrewed this. The engine is still hot. And this is the synchronizer that I just bought recently. I've been borrowing my friend Jeff's until now, so I got one online. This is from MGO, so we'll see how this one works. Just going to do another compression test now that the engine is hot. Throttle wide open. $164, $165 nearly. Oh good, the same. 165 on this one. I'm just a bit curious how fast this fuel is flowing out of the fuel tank. Yep, that's fine. That doesn't seem to be a problem at all. That's great. Just wanted to make sure there was good airflow in the fuel cap.